The Commerce Clause was made to stop laws and regulations from being made that would interfere with trade and commerce among states. This provides a basis for national government, extensive regulation of state and local affairs. Today, the national government regulates almost every commercial enterprise here in America. They also regulate the commerce and trade among states. So that's kind of some of the positives of the Commerce Clause, but some of the downsides, or what has been said as the dormant, states do not have the authority to regulate interstate commerce. And so states kind of really get limited with this commerce, it seems like, whereas the national government kind of gets a little bit more open. They're able to get more freedom and able to regulate more through the system, through this clause. Whereas states, of course, they kind of just get limited through it. Next I'm talking about is the freedom of speech. So courts will protect this as much as possible, to the fullest extent possible. But there are times that speech can be restricted. So when it comes to advertising, advertisements cannot be misleading. So that stuff can be restricted and that will be stopped. Some states have it, so the advertisements on billboards and stuff like that, they can limit the billboards to keep the beautification among their state, so they're limiting the amount of billboards to kind of preserve as much land as possible, or not put as much of human contact on the land as possible. So just kind of limiting it, keeping the beautification. And then there is unprotected speech. So this can be threatening speech. So if I were to go around making death threats or saying I'm gonna go harm somebody or something like that, that is unprotected speech. So that's not really a freedom of speech there. They can stop that type of stuff and you can possibly get in trouble for that. And then lastly, it also talks about the obscene speech is unprotected. The book talks about child pornography. That stuff cannot happen and it should not happen. I know in some schools and libraries, they limit what the kids can look up, so they can't be looking up adult type stuff, adult type of things on the internet. So they're limiting it to PG rated type stuff that they can search. So we do have a freedom when it comes to freedom of speech, but it is limited because they can limit it if it could possibly be detrimental to someone else, affects their rights, or limits their rights. Anything that can be harmful or be taken a harmful way can be restricted. Next I'm talking about is the due process, and there are two components of the due process. They are procedural and substantive. The procedural requires that any government action that will take life, liberty, or property must first be given proper notice to the person and also allow them to be heard. So that's why we have courts. So when someone's going to go to jail, they're going to lose some of their liberty. Everyone has the right to be heard and prove they were guilty or prove they were not guilty. The substantive focuses on legislation content rather than fairness. So but that doesn't mean people still don't get the fair treatment they deserve. It just focuses more on the content of it. So the state has to justify its reasoning in doing their actions. So it's just kind of making sure the state and all that stays more in line. And then last thing I'm going to talk about is the equal protection. And this kind of means the government cannot enact laws that treat similarly situated individuals differently. So everyone has the right to be treated equal. Everyone should be treated equal. So when laws are put in place that would give some people a different right than other people, that can't happen because that's going against the equal protection. So when a law or action limits the liberty of anybody, it may violate the Equal Protection Clause. It's got to be fair towards everybody. And so if it prohibits any fundamental rights towards anybody, it will undergo strict scrutiny. It's there has to be justification for everything that will be done in situations like this.